Hello there, and welcome once again to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast. We're on about episode 138. Thanks again if you're watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes or Spotify. It's great that you listen to our opinions, and it's nice when we get nice things said about us. Mark Lyson, the referee, come and spoke to me at the weekend. I think he enjoyed the Carl Greaves one and the recent Ryan Waltron, he was saying. Anyway, you know me, Steve Lillis, you know John Evans, and tonight's special guest, a fella who's a lively chap, decent bloke, and we'll say more than capable boxer, Macaulay McGowan. How are you, Macaulay?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, pleasure to be on.
Pleasure to get you back on again. You were too busy the other week, and you always go down a storm. But just looking at your year, I know you boxed the other week when you bashed up Mamadov and did a bit of a number on him, I think, and maybe the corner of Mamadov could have been a little bit more sympathetic before they were. But 5 fights this year, so great for you. It means you're always ticking over. What's the plans looking ahead to 2024? Is it a big fight in the pipeline, or just keep winning until the phone goes again for the big one?
I think that'd be the case, yeah. We tried nailing down the central area fight late for this time. Around this time, but we never got finalised. Yeah, I'd love to win a central area, but yeah, it's just a case keep winning and probably look for when the phone goes and try and snatch a British at some point, a British title shot at least. Yeah, no, it's good.
No, I did. Macca, we were talking the other week, weren't we, on the phone, and you said you're just enjoying it at the minute. You know, learn away in the gym, fight every time you can. You know an opportunity will come at some point. And the next time it comes, you're going to be the best fighter you've ever been when the opportunity presents itself, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. Like when I've had opportunities in the past, they've come off like long spells of inactivity or not been the best. So if I just stay in the gym and I keep fighting on small shows where I can or taking opportunities, then when the time does come, I believe I'll take it with both hands this time. Yeah, definitely. Like I've had a great year. I started off with a 4-rounder at cruiserweight. Then I boxed in France at super middle. Then I boxed at middle. Then I boxed at 11-2. And then I boxed at 10-12. So, yeah, my weight's come down all year.
A quick question, Steve. See if you know it. Macaulay didn't know it when I asked him. They redesigned the Central Area title belt. Whose face is on the Central Area title belt?
Craig Derbyshire.
Hey, he's got it. Macaulay didn't believe me when I told him that.
Yeah, Craig Derbyshire. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I know it's Craig Derbyshire. I'll tell you why. I know he's training Niall Allman very, very well, and he was telling me about it. That's why I know, John.
Macaulay, what'll it take to get the Macaulay McGowan face on the area title?
I'll have to fight for it about 10 times or defend it. Just win it and be the only person to keep defending it.
Right, we'll press on here and we'll start with round one, John. If you've got your clock and everything, and you start us off, John, as you regularly do, and you want to talk about the turnaround in Katie Taylor's career.
Yeah, we got to talk about Katie Taylor, haven't we? Do you know what? Unbelievable turnaround, that. Unbelievable turnaround. I hold my hands up. I was on here last week saying I thought Chantel Cameron was might even stop her late in the rematch. I just thought Katie got it dead right. She got her tactics right. We always knew she'd be fit and determined, but I think we probably all overlooked that boxing IQ and that now she's got. Look, I thought she should have got warnings for holding. It was 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. Referee didn't give her a single warning, and Katie was clever enough to just keep doing what she was doing, getting away with it. It worked perfectly. Chantel let herself get drawn into a fight. But if you told me that Katie Taylor would have beat Cameron in that fashion this time last week, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Thought it was a sensational turnaround, really, by Taylor.
Yeah, I can't comment on the fight, John, because I never saw it. I was at the VIP show in Wigan. But when I heard the result, I was on the way back from Wigan following it on Twitter. And I was shocked at the outcome. I mean, I know people want about the knockdown, but I think even if the knockdown, it would have just been a majority split, wouldn't it, or something? Then I'm not. I haven't seen the fight, but yeah, I'm shocked by the turnaround. Macca.
Yeah, I thought after the first fight, when they made it again, I thought, what's the point in making it again? Chantel's just going to walk straight through her and bash her up. But then I don't know, on the week of the fight, I started thinking, could Katie do this? And I said to Crawler at the Oldham show, I said, I think Katie's going to win on points, you know. Might be a dodgy points decision, but I think she'll get it on points. And he texted me after it saying, because he said the same, because I was thinking, I got this thing in my head saying that Chantel's going to bash her, but I've just changed my mind all of a sudden, because I think in the first fight, she nicked a few of the later rounds, I thought, Katie Taylor, just with them late flurries and grabbing on. So I thought if she could have more energy in the earlier rounds, and then she could hang on in the late ones. But yeah, it seems like that was what she did. Chantel, like she was running out of answers sometimes, or getting annoyed at the holding.
Yeah, I think that's where she was getting annoyed by it, but she didn't have an answer to it, and the referee wasn't warning her. So Katie just carried on doing it, and it was like a female lightweight version of Vladimir Klitschko, Steve, if you've not seen it.
No, I'm not seeing it. No.
Close the distance. Katie'd let 1 or 2 shots go and hold.
Yeah,
and that was
last weekend's boxing, I won't catch up with it about Wednesday, Thursday, but yeah, you know, fair play to her. And here's to the trilogy. What an event that will be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The atmosphere is unbelievable as well. The atmosphere of that free arena seemed crazy, didn't it?
Yeah, I know people.
They moved. They cheered.
Yeah, Steve Wood was out. They said it was nuts in there all night, and the noise was incredible. But yeah, fair play, Katie Taylor. That's it. Round 2. It's nuts is what I'm going to say. Fighters going in with a nut. Be interested to hear Macaulay's opinion here. I mean, more and more, a few high-profile fights lately, or that have been announced days before. Fighters rubbing heads, security, the promoters doing nothing. I saw Reece Mould and Gary Cully getting at it last week in Ireland. And I just thought it was ridiculous that they was allowed to do it for about 20 seconds. I mean, we had it with Fury and Usyk the other week. It's going to come a stage where something happens at one of these press conferences. Someone's going to get a cut 2 days out or a weigh-in, and a fight's going to be off. I just think it's ridiculous that promoters let it go on and the security stand there like wet wipes and let it go on. And now, as in Usyk Fury, just smiling at it all. I think it's really, 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 really dangerous. I don't know if you've been in those. And I know it's combat, but, you know, I just think we've got to be very careful. Something's going to happen one day here. Macca.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I don't always get the you know, when you're staring at someone and who's going to look away first, that means you're going to win the fight. I just think it's dead stupid. But like, no, like you say, I mean, it's all to do with social media and clickbait and how many views it gets now. So I think everyone thinks, oh, we'll just let it go on. It'll get a load of views. Whereas it's bullshit, really. It shouldn't, like, they're not going to start fighting. They're not even that high riled up to be like in a pub when 2 lads are going at it. It's not even that environment. It is silly. And, you know, one day, like you say, a big fight's going to go off and then everyone's going to be like, oh, why has that happened? And then the fighter will get fined. The fighter will get pulled and everything. But no one will go onto the promoter or the coaches or the manager who were like egging that sort of stuff on.
That's it. They keep... Macaulay, what's the longest stare down they've made you do at one of those weigh-ins or press conferences? They have them looking at each other now for 20, 30 seconds, don't they? It just used to be look at each other, look at the cameras, off you go. Now they hold it for about a minute. What's the longest you've ever been?
I don't know.
Just look away.
I just like I have a bit of a stare down and look away. I remember when I fought Tyler Denny, like I had looked away and he carried on looking, and I looked back up and said, "Oh, we're still doing this." And then he just laughed himself and said, "Oh, I don't know." And then we just turned away because I just think like we're going to be fighting each other tomorrow. Like staring at each other for 11th time is not going to solve anything or determine who's going to win. And like I think the promoters egg that sort of stuff on, so like one does eventually crack and say something, and then it does boil over. And then it promotes the fight, promotes the show. And, you know, I think promoters think all good publicity, all bad publicity, all publicity is good publicity.
Have you ever been sat in your dressing room and thought about how hard someone stared at you the day before?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I did when I boxed like Kazakh. Buddy looked at me like he had a crazy look in his eye, that fella.
Right. Round 3. Well, that Kazakh was like, well, I remember. Was that the fight you went to 10 rounds, didn't you, Russ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should have pulled out. But I was proper on a blagging mission with Victor Loughlin that night. I just kept blagging Victor Loughlin. That was okay. Winking at him, all. That was okay.
Well, round 3, Macaulay, you touched on a referee there. You want to talk about referees, you know, they're human and they make mistakes.
Yeah. So, like you said, Matt Lyson watched this and everything, and the referee I was speaking to, and he was talking about watching something, and I just think, wow, they're just normal people like us. Like, we think that they're just immune to all the criticism, all the hate. They make one little it's like a trend now that if you just make, like, it's a bit popular to have a go at the ref or the judges. They make one little mistake, and I feel like it's magnified now, and they're slaughtered for it no matter what. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it is right, but they're doing shows up and down the country, week in, week out, and they're probably doing a good job. But the one time that they may do something off key, it's in front of the public, and they're just slaughtered for it. And I just think sometimes I think they get too much of a rollicking.
Yeah, you know what? Go on, John.
No, go on, Steve.
Yeah, they make mistakes like football. I think a lot of it, with this, there's more and more of it picked on referees. I think it comes from this football and VAR and whatever. You know what? The only thing I just wish was allowed sometimes in boxing, yeah, they do make mistakes. You know, and I'll be honest, most of our referees are very, very good. I think British referees are really good at the moment. There's referees emerging like Kevin Parker in the Midlands, who's excellent. He refereed that Smith Eubank fight, and he was fantastic. He helped make it, you know, the rematch, the fight that it was. He was absolutely brilliant that night, Kevin Parker. And I think we've got good referees. I just wish that referees and judges, and it's like any sport, I wish it in football, they would, you know, perhaps explain why they come up with a card or why a decision was made in the fight. That's my only gripe. And that isn't a gripe with a referee. That's a gripe with, you know, governing bodies, you know, commissioners like the board, who don't allow them to speak to the media expert. I'm sure some of these referees would if they thought it would get the stick off their back. Well, on the whole, I think our boxing referees in this country are excellent.
Yeah, it's not an easy job being in the ring, is it?
No.
You know, but it's like a 3-dimensional job, isn't it? You know, they can only watch from what angle. If something happens on the other side, you know, you can't be expected to see it, especially in a little sports hall in Wigan where the lighting's not great. But some of the scorecards are beyond belief, aren't they? But that's the one thing that drives me mad more than anything. But actually, I was just whinging at the referee for not warning Katie Taylor.
No.
That's how he interpreted it, wasn't it? So it's the scorecards that get me more than any decisions in the actual fight.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. You know, I as you say, you're on the blind side. Experienced fighters know what to do on the opposite side with the ref. They know where his position is. You must probably feel his breath on you. They're that close to the action. But no, I think some of the stick they get is unfair. I'm one with you, Macca. And hopefully you'll get one now who gives you a close decision for giving them a bit of support.
Yes. Right, I'll just go and grab my charger quick before the next round. My phone's about to
You
start.
go and grab your charger. Me and John are entertaining our public.
Right, for 2 seconds.
No, it's a fair point about the referees. You know, I think a lot of it, John, comes from football. But you don't get it. I mean, I follow a lot of cricket. You don't get it in that because not VAR, you know, the system in there for replays is cricket's incredible. They just do not get it wrong because of the technology and everything.
But it works in cricket, doesn't it? I don't like VAR in football because it takes away the flow of the game. But there's also another reason I don't like it in football, Steve. You're a big fan. You're a Fulham fan. Imagine if you were playing Chelsea and you win in the 94th minute with a goal that's clearly offside.
You don't give a monkey. You don't give a monkey. It's what football's such a tribal sport. We all moan about VAR. Like I saw some club the weekend going on about it. Oh, VAR went with us for once. You don't mind when it goes with you. You know, and that's exactly right. Here's the main man. He's back now. We can crack on with round.
In fact, Steve, it's better to win in a controversial fashion than it is in a fair fashion. But
yeah, you'll get millions in the rematch.
And round 4, great. You know what? The Magnificent 7 card was magnificent the other week. We got this great show in Dubai. But I tell you what, this show that Jamie Conlon's putting on with Matchroom on Saturday night in Belfast is excellent. Not just the top of the bill, Jordan Gill against his brother, Michael Conlon. No wonder it sold around 10,000 tickets at this show at the end of last week. And one of the fights on it, Lewis Crocker and Tyrone McKenna. John, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, Mac will be good on this because it's around his sort of weight class. Yeah. I just wonder if we might see Lewis Crocker finally burst out onto the mainstream in this fight. If you speak to people around the gyms, they know how good and how dangerous Crocker is. He can really whack, can't he?
Yeah.
I just wonder if he's found the perfect opponent in Tyrone McKenna, who's going to be tall, right there for that left hook. And it could make Lewis look $1 million. Tyrone's going to be there for a fight. He's going to keep coming. I imagine he's a tough bastard as well, Tyrone. He's going to take some shots. But I just wonder if it might be the night where Crocker really shows what he's capable of. Whatever, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a great fight, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I thought Lewis Crocker would have burst out way before now. Yeah. When he was coming through on them MTK shows and that, he was like a little Carl Frampton, just like, I don't know, he had this boxing ability and he could whack, and he was icing everyone. And so I thought he's going to be mega, and I thought by this point he would be, but I don't know if outside issues or whatever have prevented him. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I think Tyrone McKenna is a big name, exciting fighter, talks the talk. You know, I think it's the perfect opponent for Lewis Crocker to really announce himself. And people go, wow, who's this kid? So yeah, I agree with you. But I wouldn't write Tyrone McKenna out though. Not a chance.
Yeah, I fancy Lewis Crocker. I'm a big McKenna fan, and I don't know if you know Tyrone McKenna as he goes by, but you know what? He's a really lovely fella. You couldn't meet a more guy you just warm to. He's lovely. But you know what? I just think Crocker punches a lot harder and he's fresher. And it's one of those, saying I come up with a lot on there. Right fight, right time for Crocker. But it's about time he did break out. I remember him, one of his early fights in Fox Nation, which seems an eternity ago.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, McKenna will also be thinking it's a good fight for him. If he can get close, use that fitness and strength and push Crocker back, he'll be thinking, well, he's never dealt with anything like this before. And McKenna will be confident. You know, McKenna knows he's going to get hit, doesn't he? Crocker might not believe he can be pushed back. So I can't wait for it. I think it'd be the fight of the night.
Yeah, so if Crocker's landing big shots on McKenna, and at one stage it looks like McKenna's going to go, and then McKenna gets his second win, round 7, and starts pushing him back, what will be made of Crocker? Has he got the minerals to get on with it? You don't know. So, yeah. And you never know. I think McKenna's got better boxing ability than we think as well. So,
yeah. We saw in the Harara Davis fight where it didn't quite pay off not going to war, but he still went close in that fight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, big, tall southpaw. I bet he can box really good. I bet his coaches hate watching him box, thinking, why have you let your head rule your heart rule your head again? But,
he always says that himself. But I think he's got the fighting Irish in him, hasn't he? That's it. A bit like yourself, Macca. A bit like yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know I should box, but I can't help it.
Round 5, I think the one fight on that great Belfast bill is Sean McCone, Sam Maxwell. When you use the term crossroads clash, this is totally it. I mean, the loser, where do they go? I mean, these two fight each other, take this on. I mean, and I was with Sam Maxwell a couple of months ago, and he said he didn't want to come back and just have a 6th round. He just wanted to see what's left in the tank. And I just think this is a terrific fight because the loser really has nowhere to go. Sam's bouncing back after the Dalton Smith fight. I think he's had 4 or 5 wins. Sean, since the Gavin Gwynn lost when he was, that night. It was a Commonwealth title. I just think fantastic fight. And I don't know. I haven't got a clue who I think is going to win it even. But these are the sort of fights I just want to see because it's 2 guys. And the loser, retirement is staring them in the face.
Yeah, I've got no clue who's going to win that fight. No clue. So I thought Sam wasn't good against Dalton, was he? It was a bad one from Sam that night. But he still got that right hand. McComb might be boxing nicely with a big lead, and that right hand might come out. I've got absolutely no idea who's going to win that fight. But you're right, Steve. it's like a loser leaves town match in wrestling, isn't it?
It is a loser leaves. And what's mad, they were such close friends as amateurs, lived together and everything. It's mad.
No way. I think McComb's going to win. I think McComb's a lot more ambitious at the moment, hungry, and still got a lot of life left in the tank. Whereas I think, which could play in his favour, is Sam Maxwell's a bit like, I'm just going to go for it, see where I end up. Whereas, if it gets hard, will he go, well, retirement's in the picture anyway. But at the same time, Maxwell's got that big right hander. You wish he would go for it a bit more sometimes. So you're thinking, well, the fact that he's like, I don't give a damn, I'm just going to go for it. He might put on a career best performance. I think, what the hell? Throw the kitchen sink at McComb and land that big right hand, like you say. You never know. But I always thought McComb, whatever, however you pronounce it, I thought after his fight on the Boxer show, he would have stayed on Boxer and really progressed. But I don't know. He had boxing then, and he's now fighting Maxwell.
But just before we move on, then, who's going to win, Williamson and Ajako?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go. Okay.
I think we might get a better Troy Williamson.
I think. Well, you know what? I did pick that. I'm gonna go with Ajako.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
No, you don't know.
It's a cracking show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I remember sparring Ajako. When he was 14 and I must have been 16, 17, and he could bang like fuck then.
Right. Round 6, final roundabout. And Macaulay, you sort of talk about the small hall boxes and how it needs a revamp. Our promoters should promote it. You've been on them this year, so you've got experience of it. Give us what you think needs to happen.
No, I'm just thinking, would it not be better if, like, the promoter said, I'm going to give such and such a fight 500 quid. You're definitely getting this amount of money. You're getting this amount of money. You're going to get 10% of the tickets that you sell. So it kind of puts it on the promoter then to promote the show, and it's on him. Whereas at the moment, I know they lose money, don't get me wrong, but I think, like, fighters, it's all on the fighters. You got to sell your tickets. You got to do this. But I think, well, why didn't the promoter promote the show as well? And like with the TV shows, obviously they have a bigger budget, but they give a certain amount. Whereas small non-televised show, they'll go, well, we haven't got a bigger budget, but you're on a 4-rounder, you get 600 quid. You're on an 8-rounder, you might get 800 quid or whatever. The promoter uses his brain to go, all right, well, I know that kid will sell loads of tickets, or he's a bit of a bigger name. So he'll probably just get a bit more than the average, but we have like an average price of what small hall fighters will get, and then they'll get a percentage of the tickets. Just an idea. I'm not saying that should happen. I'm just saying it could, just something to debate.
But that's what, you know what? When I first started going small boxing in the later, God almighty, generations ago, in the mid-70s, and I followed a lot of small boxing in London, in South London in the 80s, when I had a bit more money and was working and stuff. And it was always then, they was always guaranteed a purse plus commission. It's only coming over the last decade. I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but I don't even know how all this came in. But what I will say is, I get what you say about give the fighters so much. But you know what? There's fighters out there today, and good luck to them, as you got to say, who are on mad sponsorship on small hall shows. They haven't got the impetus themselves to get out there on tickets. I know a couple boxers who are on £500-600 a week.
Flipping out, fair play.
Well, good luck to them. It's a hard job, but you know what? And I think one of them could be a bit more motivated. I'm not going to start slagging individuals. Could be a bit more motivated in his training if he went out and did that. So I think there's that you got to consider as well. But I'm trying to think back where all this come in with ticket deals and jumping on a show where you cover the opponent, put so much in the house and take the rest. I mean, it's great for some boxers. I know a couple fighters in London that are selling like 10 grand worth of tickets and walking out with 5 grand for 4 rounds. But there's other fighters who are suffering. So I think whichever way you went on that, Macaulay, I just think there'll be as many people on one side disputing that. And I dare say you've realised fighting on 5, and they've all been small hall shows this year, your 5. I know the last 2 or 3 have.
One in France.
You had one in France, didn't you?
That was Sky Sports, and then I had 2 on Sky, didn't I? So I did all right.
The last one, for example, you was on Gary's show the other week, and you know you had a good win against Mamadov. But if you'd gone on Gary's show that's next week again, which there was talk of you doing, I'm guessing it would have been impossible for you to go back to the same blue collar fans who follow you and sell before Christmas, and you'd have ended up fighting for nothing by the time you put in the house and covered the opponent.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. That's how it is. Like, especially on 2 weeks' notice, it's hard to. Basically, you're paying for yourself, aren't you? You're just making the money for the tickets. It's like me getting, say, $3,000 together and giving the show $3,000, but it's just that you're doing it through the tickets instead. I know the game. I know how it works. It's just, I just think maybe should the promoter say you're getting 400. I know he's a bit better. He can sell more tickets. I'll give him. He's 700, and he'll get 10% of the $5,000 of tickets. I don't know. Just make a different way of thinking of it.
John, what's your take?
Yeah, it seems to me like the clues in my job description, isn't it? Boxing promoter. No, if you're a boxing promoter, promote the boxing. It seems like we're relying on repeat business. We're relying on old fans. If Macaulay's fighting on a show, we're relying on Macaulay's fans to come and watch him. Yeah. If you're promoting boxing, you need to be promoting it to new people so you get a constant flow of people. You need people to be coming watching Macaulay who don't know him. Not fans that he has to go and personally sell a ticket to. You need people to look in the paper or look online and see, oh, Macaulay McGowan's fighting, I want to go.
Yeah, or Macaulay McGowan's fighting another good kid. And then the whole, it's like the UFC model, they don't really specify on the individual fighter. It's like the business model all goes, the event is a big event, innit? Like with these small all shows, if they put on loads of good fights, the whole event would sell itself, not so much the fighter having to sell it himself. You know what I mean?
That's the only. That's the only way. That's the only way to do it, Macaulay, isn't it? Because it's impossible to promote a 9-fight, 10-fight bill where it's all home fighters are going to win against Latvians any differently. Yeah. You can't promote that any differently. The only way you can promote small halls these days is to put good fights on and sell it on that.
I do think they're starting to do that though. I do think a lot more better fights are happening on the show.
You know, but the other thing that winds me up with small boxing, and you'll cause the venue and it always stands out. People literally just buy a ticket to go and watch their mate fight. They watch one fight and then they'll go to the bar at York Hall and they might come back for the main event at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
There was a show at York Hall the other week on Fight Zone that TN14 put out. It was sold out and there was no one in there until the last hour of the show. They was in and out and go to that pub over the road from York Hall for a couple of hours and everyone wants to see the main event. Sorry, John.
What about having like themes to shows like Lancashire versus Yorkshire?
Yeah, I think that there's a good one this week. A dinner show they do all down at Cannock, Excelsior Sporting Club, because it's St Andrew's Day on Thursday. They've got an England-Scotland theme where Ian Wilson's bringing 3 boxers down in 50-50 fights against 3 of John Pegg's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. That box off has started, and that's good. It's like football teams, you know, that box off. You know, the Manchester.
I'm robbing an idea there.
Yeah.
It's actually a good format. Like it's, you know, so people get behind Manchester. It's like a football team, innit? And then he's boxing for Manchester. Oh, that's good. And then you can try and nick a few, you know, of your own supporters off the back of it. I think that's a good format. Will it take off? I don't know, but I don't know. Just good to try different ideas.
Another thing I was thinking, like something I think these Saudis should do when they get into the flow of it, instead of having, like, they're showing Belfast, great, there's lots of light, middle, welterweight type fights. Put on a 6-fight bill that's got heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight.
Yeah.
Like, so that people can follow people's careers through, you know, so people are going to a show and they know they're going to see a heavyweight fight. They know they're going to see a flyweight fight, and they get something different right down the card.
Of course.
Ideas. I know it's difficult. Not easy, is it? But
before we let you go, Macaulay, one question. John touched on Saudi Arabia there. Is Joe taking you out there to get a bit of the money?
You better do. Joe, are you taking us out there? Hopefully. I'll get there in my own right one day.
If you had to pick your opponent for a Saudi show, who would it be, Macaulay? You're not allowed to say Michael Mooney or someone like that.
All right. You know what? For the Saudi show, I'd just go all out, all in, and I'd say Chris Late. No, I'm joking. No, Canelo. I'd say, you know what? Let's fight Canelo.
Brilliant. Fellas, thanks very much indeed. Macaulay, you've been brilliant with joining us tonight. John, thanks as always, and thanks everyone for listening. Thank you to you two most of all, though.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.